All right, folks, let's get right into it because there's loads happening already in Celtic's world. And even though Ida's season only wrapped up days ago, it might feel like we should all be taking a breather, letting our minds rest before we even think about the next campaign, but Celtic don't really give us that kind of luxury, do they? Things are moving quickly, plans are falling into place, and the club's already mapping out the road ahead. So whether you're still nursing the hangover from the title celebrations or just trying to make peace with how last season ended, it's time to shake it off. Preseason's coming fast. Now the big story, preseason preparations. And this isn't just vague speculation or bits and pieces from unnamed sources. Now, most of the full pictures come out over the last 24 hours. And what we've got is an outline that gives us a proper sense of what Brendan Rodgers and his squad will be walking into when July hits. There's no massive globe-trotting adventure this time. No United States tour like we saw last year. No Japan jaunt like the one before that. And certainly no unexpected pit stops in Australia. Instead, this summer's all about European soil structure and some genuinely decent opposition to get the lads in shape for what's ahead. But let's not jump too far forward. First things first, when are the players back to squads due to return to Lennoxtown in the very first days of July? We're talking probably Monday the 30th of June or Tuesday the 1st of July. Now, typically players who've been away on international duty in June get an extra week or so off. But here's the thing this year, there's hardly anyone from the squad heading away for international fixtures. That's quite a change from 12 months ago, where it felt like half the squad was scattered across the globe. This time around, it's just a handful. We're talking guys like Liam Scales, Adam Ida, Yang Hyun Jun, and maybe Paulo Bernardo, though there's a bit of uncertainty there. Even Kasper Schmeichel's name was floated, though. That seems more speculative. But the core of the squad staying put. Cameron Carter-Vickers isn't going away with the United States, and neither is Austin Trusty. Alistair Johnston won't be with Canada either, which has surprised a few folk, especially considering they've named a reasonably strong squad for their matches. There was talk of some sort of Canadian Shield competition, but it seems like Johnston and even Alphonso Davies have been left out. Whether that's down to rest rotation or something else, it works out well for Celtic. He gets a well-earned break. Callum McGregor's another one. For the first time in years, he's actually getting a proper close season with no Scotland duties. That's massive for a guy who's carried so much responsibility year after year. Reo Hatate and Daisen Maeda weren't called up to the Japan squad, and Ariengos didn't make Belgium's either. So what we're looking at is a good chunk of key players getting a much-needed reset, which can only help when it's time to push again. Now let's talk matches. The first confirmed friendly is against Cork City in the south of Ireland, scheduled for Tuesday the 8th of July. It'll be played at Payak Chawem with a 6 o'clock kickoff. It's part of something called the Cork Super Cup, which, to be honest, is being billed as a bit more dramatic than it probably is. The promotional blurb talks about two titans of football facing off in a historic event, which fair enough may be a bit of marketing flair. But for Celtic, it's a nice low-pressure way to get the boots back on and the lungs going again. And who knows, maybe we'll lift the Cork Super Cup and parade it around like it's the Champions League. Stranger things have happened. After that, it's off to Portugal for an 8-day training camp. That's become a bit of a tradition for the Hoops, having gone there a couple of times in recent years. They were definitely in the Algarve 2 summers ago, and there's chatter about playing Sporting Lisbon while they're over there. If that gets locked in, it'll be a solid test. And let's be honest, playing against a team that wears the same colors as you always adds that wee bit of extra spice. Hopefully we've got a decent away kit ready, or someone's bringing bibs. Then comes the standout fixture, Newcastle United at Celtic Park on Saturday the 19th of July, 3 o'clock kickoff. That's shaping up to be the big preseason test. Newcastle are a quality side, they travel with numbers, and there's already talk they could have as many as 10,000 fans in their away end. That'll be a proper occasion, and for the players a real taste of the intensity to come. It's exactly the sort of game you want ahead of a season that includes Champions League football. It's miles better than some of the lukewarm friendlies we've had in the past. No offense to the likes of Norwich or Blackburn, but this is a different level entirely. After that, the journey continues. Celtic will head to Italy to the Lombardy region for a short tournament hosted by Serie A side Como. Now that club might not be a household name for everyone, but they've been climbing steadily. They finished 10th in Serie A last season and have got a few big names attached to them. Cesc Fabregas is managing them, and they've had players like Dele Alli and Sergi Roberto on the books. Plus, they've got links to Barcelona and Ajax, which makes things even more interesting. Speaking of Ajax, they're set to take part in the tournament too. The matches are penciled in for the 24th and 26th of July. The format's not 100% clear yet. It might be a 3-team round robin, maybe 4 teams. Either way, Celtic will get 2 more high-level matches under their belt before the real stuff kicks off. You'd imagine Rodgers will use the games to test both his strongest 11 and some of the fringe players. After all, they're only 48 hours apart, so squad rotation's inevitable. That sets us up nicely for the start of August, which is when the Scottish Premiership kicks back into gear. The league fixtures are being released on the 20th of June, so we'll know soon enough. Who we're up against in the opening weekend. Flag Day is scheduled for either the 2nd or 3rd of August at Celtic Park, which will be another big moment. From there, it's full steam ahead. Champions League group stage draw is set for the 4th of August, and the first matches come a couple of weeks later. That means Celtic will have had proper preparation. 4, maybe 5 friendlies, a training camp, and at least 2 league games before stepping onto the European stage. That's a massive difference compared to previous years, where we were flung into qualifiers in the middle of July scrambling for fitness and rhythm. Now, before we move on from preseason, one we note about Kieran Tierney, there's been whispers, strong ones, that his contract with Arsenal ends on the last day of June. If that's the case, and Celtic make the move, he could be walking back through the doors at Lennoxtown right at the start of July. The timing would be perfect. That said, he's with the Scotland squad for now, so if a move does happen, he might link up with the squad a little later. Anthony Ralston's also with Scotland, so same applies there. But again, most of the squad will be in early and ready to go. Now, shifting gears slightly, Liam Scales. The Irish Independent ran a piece earlier this week with some quotes from him following that defeat to Aberdeen. It was a one-on-one chat, and while there wasn't anything earth-shattering, there was one bit that stood out. Scales spoke candidly about how he never really expected to feature much last season. Injuries opened the door for him, and once he got the chance, he treated it like a free hit. In his words, he thought, if I don't play well, nothing changes. I'm probably leaving anyway, but if I do well, I've got a chance to stake my claim. And fair play to him, that's exactly what he did. What's also interesting is that he now considers centre-back to be his preferred position. When Celtic signed him, most assumed he was a left-back, maybe even cover for Greg Taylor. But it turns out he sees himself as a central defender, and to be honest, that's where he's done his best work. He's far from the finished article, and I still think most fans would like to see Celtic bring in another centre-back to raise the standard. But Scales has shown he can be a dependable squad option, and in a long, grueling season, that counts for a lot. And finally, a quick word on Jeff Schlupp. Crystal Palace have confirmed he's leaving after 8.5 years at the club. He picked up their chairman's award for outstanding contribution, which tells you the sort of impact he's had down south. There was some talk about him possibly joining Celtic permanently after a brief spell here, but at this stage it feels more unlikely than likely. He didn't disgrace himself. Far from it. Played well against Bayern Munich, struggled in other matches, and ultimately lost his spot when Greg Taylor returned and finished the season strong. If Schlupp does somehow sign I'm not going to throw a tantrum or march down to Celtic Park with a pitchfork, he's a decent pro. But realistically, I think the club will aim a bit younger, a bit more long-term when it comes to left-back, especially with someone like Tierney potentially in the frame. Schlupp's time at Celtic, short as it was, won't be remembered as a disaster. But it also won't be remembered as the start of a new chapter. He came, he contributed, and now it looks like we move on. So there you have it. A preseason plan that's shaping up to be one of the more structured and meaningful ones we've had in recent years. Strong opposition, minimal distractions, and a group of players who will actually be rested and ready to go. Now, if we can just get those transfers sorted out nice and early, we might just be cooking with gas. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There's a growing rumor sweeping through the terraces and back rooms of Scottish football. Could it be that young Lennon Miller has traded claret and amber for the green and white hoops? Word on the street is that the 17-year-old sensation has left Motherwell to join Celtic, potentially becoming the new heartbeat of the boys' midfield. While nothing has been officially confirmed by either club, sources close to the deal suggest that LENNON MILLER, long hailed as one of the brightest prospects to come through Fir Park in years, is set to make Paradise his new home. If true, this move could signal Celtic's intention to bolster their midfield with youthful energy and local talent, something that has been at the core of their philosophy for generations. Miller's departure from Motherwell, a club where he has been nurtured since his early days, will surely come as a bitter pill for the Staleman faithful. The young midfielder has impressed week in, week out with performances that belied his age, showing composure on the ball, an eye for a pass, and the kind of tenacity that makes a player a fan favourite in Lanarkshire. Celtic, on the other hand, could be looking to the future with this move, anticipating possible departures or injuries in their midfield ranks. Could LENNON MILLER be seen as the long-term successor to some of the more established names currently occupying the engine room at Parkhead? Some pundits believe so, pointing to his versatility and fearless approach as key attributes that would make him thrive under the pressure of playing in front of 60,000 passionate supporters. There has been chatter among former players and insiders that Lennon himself was keen on the move, viewing it as the next natural step in his burgeoning career. A chance to play European football, challenge for titles, and learn under the tutelage of one of Scotland's biggest clubs might have proved too tempting to resist. Of course, until an official statement is released, this remains in the realm of speculation. But one thing's for certain, if this rumor proves true, Celtic fans could soon be chanting the name of LENNON MILLER from the stands, hailing him as their new midfield maestro, while Motherwell supporters are left wondering what could have been. For now, the Scottish footballing community watches with bated breath, waiting to see whether this rumored transfer turns into a blockbuster reality or simply fades away as just another piece of terrace gossip. Hello fan, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.